many thanks for granting this audience to your beautiful dear Tessa. As I said before, you're everything beautiful, and we're really happy to have you here. First question would be, you're a perfect reflection of who an icon is in the creative industry and beyond. How you effortlessly combine a variety of dreams and thrive time and again. How you combine all these wins with balancing family and more is what we like to describe as a fulfilling life. Can you please share more highlights on how you began your creative journey and what helped you thrive in a variety of fields, including sports, modeling, and family life?
You know what? It's a bit sort of like hectic, as we know, but I think one of the things that I've gained experience from is being an international athlete for 26 years. And sometimes you have to get up and go when you don't even want to get up and go. You have to train when you don't even want to get up and train. So it's like ad hoc times you have to pick to get out and do things. And also, one of the things for me is that I love challenges. So, I always try and push the goalpost out a little bit more. And also, the good thing is that I do have a husband who's supportive, and also my family has always been supportive of me. But my husband used to be in sport himself. He did judo, and he was chairman of British Judo for like 12 years. So I think having that combination of him understanding that I would have to get up and go sometimes, and when I'm called on to go and do speeches, to go and go to the schools and the children and talk, all this I'll put in my head and create a balance. I also try and have a diary as well, which I do have a manager who looks after that for me, because I tell you something, girls, if I never had that manager, everything would be upside down, because you just forget some things, and sometimes you call me back and say, Tessa, remember, you've got to do this, you've got to do that.
Yeah.
But it's not easy doing that. But I think when you get up in the morning or the day before, planning is always important. It's always important that you plan the day before, a couple of days before, how you're going to see your day the next day, put things in the right perspective, and that way it becomes a little bit more easier.
Well, I really love how your mind works. I love the fact that you put cognizance into the planning your activities beforehand, and it's written all over you. You have a lovely home, a supportive husband, supportive family. I mean, where would you look this young at 66? But anyways, I would love to know what art means to you. What does art mean to you?
What does art mean for me? Is that the
Yeah.
question? Oh,
Yeah.
art, art, any art, but we're asking about
Yeah.
Christmas time art. Yes?
Art, as an artist, art. Your art.
Oh,
Sports is an art.
artist is,
Yeah.
it means a lot, because I think, it gives you a station point. It gives you something to aim at, like having confidence, being an artist as well. It just, there's so many different paths that you can take. And it just means it's a fulfilling situation. But it can be quite challenging, whatever art or whatever life or whatever pathway you're taking through that art.
What does art mean to you? For art beyond
I mean, the art, you
drawing,
mean
painting, music.
what does
Sometimes
art
how
mean?
people express themselves.
Well, if we're thinking about
Yeah.
art on the whole, let's look at the artists that are Christmas time. Like now, coming up to now, means an awful lot to me, because it's a time that is very special. It is like art in a certain way, but like you're painting of art. You have this special portrait that you create, and you think, oh, that's coming up. I admire that. I love that. What can I do with that? I think there's so many different forms of art that one can form. But for me, if you look at the Christmas time of art, it means so much, because there's so many fabulous things that you can do. It's time out to spend that special moment with your family and friends, and a special occasion where you look at special things to do, and even presents.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of people don't probably, how can I say, look at like gifts for Christmas and that, but I do, because it's a special time to say to my family and friends or my twins, thank you. You know, it's wonderful. Art is a lot, means a lot.
Mm. Okay. Okay, next question is, we are grateful to have you on board this special issue with the theme The Art of Christmas. Do you celebrate Christmas? What's your most memorable moment yet in this holiday season?
I'm glad we touched on Christmas like I did before, because Christmas time to me is it's a very special time, and it always has been from the time I was young, because I was brought up in Jamaica until I was 6 years old, and then came here, and it followed on the same. So Christmas means a lot to me. It's a special time. I do go to church. I haven't been to church for a little while because COVID was a little bit intervening and we couldn't have a lot of people in there. But Christmas is very special to me because it's a time again where, you know, you have special people around you. It's a time to celebrate the birth of, you know, Christ, what you learn in church. For me, there's so many special meetings, the time where you can have your house just full of special people, like I've had it one year, had 27 of my family in my house at one Christmas.
Oh,
And it's a time where special food as well, although it's not special food, it's just eating lots and lots and lots of food. So Christmas means a lot to me, and there's special moments too that you know I've had for Christmas.
that's really lovely. Next question would be, what would you consider most fulfilling about being a multi-award winning Olympian?
Yeah, just to finish up on the questions a bit, there's something I'd just like to add. You know, there were special moments for me where I consider Christmas was fantastic, because as when I finished athletics, or just before, I learned that I couldn't have any children, so I went to a series of IVF and things like that, and also it didn't work for me, so I decided to adopt. And having spoken to my mom, because I was so close to my sister, we decided to adopt. And when I met my husband, Ensign, I spoke to him about it. So we adopted a little boy, twins, boy and girl. And that moment, well, I mentioned Christmas because they spent their first Christmas with us. They were 3 months old when I adopted them. And that moment of them coming home was just so special at Christmas. And all my family wanted to come and see them and everything like that. Oh, it's just amazing. So I just wanted to add that special moment too. But to answer your question, what would I consider being the most filling moment about being an Olympian? Or a multiple award, is it?
Multi-award winning Olympian. Yeah.
Being an what's the most memorable? I'll say that again. Sorry.
Yeah. What would you consider most fulfilling about being a multi-award winning Olympian?
Yeah, I think it's to be able to, you know, meet different people, see different people. What sport does is one fantastic thing is that it helps you to communicate. It's such a diversity of people that you get to meet, you get to travel. And also the thing is, I wanted to do that when I was a youngster, that I wanted to travel and see the world, because my family was very working class. They could hardly afford for me to come training and things like that. So, you know, I wanted to see the wonders out there. So being an award Olympian is very fulfilling, because people do get attracted to you as such. I don't mean like, you know, physically say, oh no, well, I want to date Tessa and things like that. Well, that happens with my hubby too, but but what it is that it can help you sort of go through that pathway of meeting and doing so many different things that you probably would never do. I've just been honored with 3 awards, because I've had, now become ambassador of the Variety Club of Great Britain, which they were the first people, charity ever, to help me in my career before, also helped me to win my first Commonwealth gold medal in 78 and then on to the 84 Olympics. And they only sort of gave me like 2,000 a year because, you know, I had nothing really for that towards health. I just won the also Chamber of Commerce, the Black Chamber of Commerce Award, which I thought was lovely. And also to have the Legendary Awards from the Gleaner, which is from Jamaica, which is absolutely superb to me and holds a lot, mainly because motherland is Jamaica to me. So having won awards is fantastic, but being an Olympian and getting an award, and at the age I am now, and 30 years since I won, it means a lot. One of the things also that fulfilling for me is Black History Month have just happened. And I think probably if I wasn't an Olympian, also maybe I would not have been called on to do so much presentation, to inspire young people to talk to young girls, talk to schools, everything like that. So I do think there have been some fantastic fulfilling moments and multiple awards moments. And to be called a legend and people are saying, okay, you're an icon, it is a lovely feeling because I've worked very, very hard to be at this stage. And it's lovely to see people fulfilling that.
Do you feel creatives in the developed countries are at advantage to those in developing countries?
I think creativity in developing countries are an advantage, mainly because there are a lot of countries who are underdeveloped and who have a lot of sporting talent, and not just sporting talent, you know, doctors, nurses, all these other people, and they wish to just aspire a little bit more. And I think if the creativity from that can be brought out or be assisted or helped to be brought out into that bigger world, is to give them that ladder on the, put their foot, can I say, on that ladder to greater things. It's very important. I think it's also great to be creative in themselves. And I'm not just talking especially about, you know, women, because we talk about this at International EO, International Times. I think it's wonderful that we develop other countries as well to make sure that the world knows what we're all doing, how people are aspiring across the world. That's how you create other icons and create opportunities for people who are disadvantaged. So I think, yes, it's vitally important.
I think I agree with you on what you said. There's that differences between the two angles. So how do you balance work time and rest time as a creative? So we understand that as a sports person, there will always be that time where you always need to rehearse, you always need to go for trainings, but at the same time you still need to bond with family, you still need to have recreational and social moments. How do you create that balance over the years? How have you been able to create that balance?
Well, I think the thing is, having 2 young kids can be quite demanding, because my twins now are 10 years old,
yeah,
and they're at primary school. But what I do in the mornings, I make sure that, knowing that they come home at lunchtime, I prepare my things the night before. So, you know, and I say to them, what would you like for lunch, darling, the next day? And they'll say something like burgers and chips and all that. And I have to put a stop on that and say, oh, no, you're not going to have burgers and chips tomorrow. You'll have something else. But, you know, and try and also keep everything as healthy as well. But I balance my time by, as I say, having a good husband, but also I space things out. I put things in the right perspective as much as I can. Sometimes I do go crazy, but preparation is a must. If you don't prepare, then things go crazy. It's all over the place. And what I try and do, if I've got to do something which is really, really important, then I make sure that I know what it's about. I make sure if I've got to go and do a speech, which sometimes I have 2 or 3 times, a month on the stage to go and talk to a lot of people, I make sure that I get all the agenda in beforehand so I can absolutely study and see what it's going to be about and prepare myself. Preparation is a must, but it can be very time consuming. But one of the things is, one of the biggest things, I also make sure that if it doesn't fit in with seeing my children enough or working with their curricula and all this, then you know what, I take a second look at it. So it's important to make sure that my family, I always put first. Whatever happens, I always put first, my family and my twins, because they're at the age where growing up is important. Knowing the right thing is important. When they do a project about me at school, which I'm very honoured about, and they show off a little bit about it, I make sure that I sit down with them, talk to them about it. My husband is absolutely brilliant, because sometimes they, you know, people say it's a man's world. Sometimes it's not, because us women have our own ladders and our own strength too. So, but I put mine before my husband because he's very busy as well. And I say, look, darling, this is what I've got coming up. And what have you got coming up? And we try and put those together and work it like that. And that's how family times become, you know, great. Also, what I don't forget is that my kids love to play things like games and Scrabble and, you know, things like those, especially my little boy. My little girl is like a diva. She likes to dance a bit. So I make sure that we spend time and sit down and become a children with them. And that's really important.
What does success mean to you? What does success mean?
What does success mean to me? It means a lot. I think it's very important to be successful. If you are not 100% in achieving what you want to achieve, then I think the art of that is make sure that you put foot forward, you pick up the challenge, you have a go. Never sit back and think it's going to come and fall on your lap, because it doesn't. You have to work hard for it. And I know how hard I've had to work over the 26 years I spent in track and field, and over the 30 years now since I won my Olympic gold medal. It means an awful lot, mainly because it's not just me that is carrying on my back. I know when I go out there, there's a lot of Black young people too who are looking to say, oh, Tessa, this is what you did. How did you do it? And how's that? And I feel really chuffed that I can talk about that. I can talk about the experiences at all levels, you know, from the racism to sort of family life to achieving. I can talk about rivalry, how you get that too when it comes in life, and not just in sport. It comes in absolutely everything, in jobs, and to absolutely be at the top of that and feel that you are the best in the country or at the world, and you have done the best that you can do. It's amazing. It's a great feeling. I love being successful, but if you don't achieve 100%, like I'm saying, that you've set your challenges out to achieve, it doesn't mean that you're a failure either. It just means that maybe it wasn't right for you then, or maybe there's a little bit more learning to do. Maybe the challenges was a little bit too high at that stage for you at the time. So go back and look at yourself. And then again, the next time it might be successful, but never fear. Success is lovely and it's a great feeling.
Okay. Could you briefly tell us something we do not know about Tessa Sanderson? Pardon.
What is it you do not know about Tessa Sanderson? Oh, that's a yummy one. Actually, I've been married now for 12 years. I got married in 2010. No, yes, that's right, to Denzine White. And the funny thing is, we got married in St. Paul's Cathedral. And maybe a lot of people don't know that. St. Paul's Cathedral in London, because I got my MB, my OB, and my CBE, which I had from the Queen. Those are 3 honors. So we decided to use those, to go to St. Paul's, which I think, not many sportsmen, if any, has ever done. And so, maybe a lot of people don't know that. And what else can I tell you about me? I'm a happy-go-lucky person. I'm so pleased to have been born to wonderful parents. I don't know what else I can tell you. What do they not know about me? I I tried, they do know that I tried the modeling a little bit, and that was okay, but it's not something that I would sort of relish on, mainly because I think to do the catwalk and stuff like that, probably, I'm not cut out to do. But there's a lot of things there is to me, but I think people just know, and this is why I think it's probably important that success is good, so people do know and come into your world. This year, maybe a lot of people don't know, I was mayor of Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games, and what that meant is that I was elected to be the mayor of my Commonwealth village. And so what that entails is that I had to welcome the countries that came into my village, and there was a lot of them, from all different nations, which countries and nations, which was great. Prince Edward, I had to welcome him on the day and just show him around my village and show him how great we're doing. So that was really great. And also, maybe a lot of people don't know that I went and collected the baton from Her Royal Highness, His Royal Highness, Prince William, when I was in Dubai earlier this year. So what do we not know about me? I suppose there's a lot more, but it would be thinking about. One of the things they don't know is that I never try to change my makeup. I'm pretty boring, so I stick to the same makeup and all that. And yeah, that's it. I never use soap on my face.